Good morning, social studies students. This morning, your teachers are coming at you with a creative writing challenge. And I realize that as soon as I say those words, a bunch of you are thinking yes, and a bunch of you are thinking no. But bear with us here as we take this opportunity to engage our civil rights episodes a little bit more deeply. Last class, you went through 8 short videos and you moved some text boxes around. And that basically left you with a very kind of a very basic overview of the kinds of cycles of protest that characterized the civil rights movement in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But today we're going to slow down and focus in on one new episode and give you an opportunity to kind of sink a little bit deeper in it, feel a little bit more, and also be creative. So let's take a look at your options. So the first option is just a creative free write. A bunch of you will be happy about this because basically your teachers are just trying to get out of your way and let you write as creatively and passionately as you can. Your goal is to get inside this moment of this painting by Norman Rockwell called The Problem We All Live With. Take on the identity or the perspective of someone involved in this scene. And that could be someone that you can see in the painting, like one of the U.S. Marshals or the little girl, or it could be somebody that's involved in this scene that you cannot see, but is implied, like the little girl's parents, or the wife of one of the U.S. Marshals concerned about his safety, or someone in the crowd. And you can even personify something that is non-human if you are so bold. You can write a poem, a short story, song, etc., etc. There's really no limit other than 1 page. That's the length limit. And once you are comfortable with these instructions, you can delete all of this text and you can begin your work and just try to fill most or all of this page with a genuine effort and a demonstration of your knowledge of the moment in history and the time period and the struggle. And don't go over this 1 page. Working here on a slide means that it's easiest if you just stay right within this box. So plan ahead, maybe spend a little time coming up with a pre-write, jot a couple notes down. But then really for option 1 here, it's just free. Pick your format and go. For those of you that are looking for a little bit more structure, because you may not really think of yourself as a creative writer, we're going to have you write what we call a formula poem. Now, a formula poem is basically a step-by-step process of making careful observations of the painting and then kind of accidentally, as part of the very last process, gluing together a poem just based off of your observations. So it works like this. You have a separate slideshow that's been shared with you, and it's a zoomed in image of the whole painting. Spend some time looking at it really carefully and go through this thinking routine where you write down everything that you can see. These are usually nouns, objects, things, people that you can see. And then after you've exhausted that list, the crack in the wall, words on the wall, things on the sidewalk, things people are wearing, nouns, move over to the second box and begin listing adjectives or descriptions. So an example might be, I see a girl, but I notice that she's not in the middle of the painting, or I notice that she's wearing nothing but white. I see books in her hand in box 1, but in box 2, I notice up close that the book has white stars and a blue background like the American flag. So we start kind of zooming in here in box 2, and we really try to sharpen our observation skills. In box 3, we start gluing together what we see and notice to draw some conclusions. And obviously you're using your prior knowledge from those videos as well. So you can draw some conclusions here, like, I think the girl is scared, or I think she's on her way to school. I think the artist chose to do such and such because I think something terrible is about to happen, etc. Make predictions, make hypotheses, draw conclusions based on prior knowledge and based on the notices that you have in that second box. And then the last step is to just list all the questions that you have. And these could be questions that you have as an observant, but those could also be questions maybe in the minds of the characters themselves. And if you were to go in that route, you might find that gives you some more ammunition when it comes time to actually glue these pieces into a poem. So I want you to imagine that you've filled up this entire page with detailed observations, short little notes, not detailed notes, but short little bullets of everything you can see, notice, think, and wonder about when looking at the painting. Now, the next step is to just take each of those boxes and plug them into one of these formulas or another formula that you create for yourself. They all are made of 3 short stanzas. And if you look at formula A, for example, it says where. So now that's not from the notes above, but take 2 short phrases there and describe where the scene is taking place, and then start plugging in what you see, what you think, and what you wonder. Just go right to your notes and pull those in. Now, this is, it's a step-by-step recipe, and if you do it very robotically or very mechanically, you're still going to end up with a poem at the end. But what you'll probably discover is that as you go, you can tweak and you can customize and you can improvise on this formula however you want to. On this page, this is where you'll do your final work. Notice that you're going to put in a title. You'll read these instructions. You delete them as you feel comfortable and keep your work within this single page. And again, you may find it helpful to wait until your poem is completely finished before trying to think of a title. For those of you that need the little extra bit of encouragement here on the formula poem, I'd like to end with an example. This is an example that I did with my daughter a few years back. Again, it was designed to encourage my students and show them how easy this was. At the time, my daughter Sophie was 6 years old, and I gave her some time to just sit and stare at this painting. And I asked her, Sophie, what do you see? And she began to describe all the things, objects that she observed. And then I asked her to describe those things. What do you notice? And then we went to, what do you think might be happening? What do you think the artist might be trying to communicate? What do you think this painting could be about? And then I gave her a chance at the end to ask some questions. What do you wonder? What do you think the artist wonders about? Anyway, here's what we came up with when we took one of the formulas and we just plotted in her notes. In a beautiful country, there is a storm. Broken trees, farms, green everywhere. Happy, scared. I want to go there. Nature and people are both powerful. In the land, there is a question. Nature is so big, we have to take care of the earth. Now, if I read it dramatically enough, I can actually make that look like a grown, trained writer had something really thoughtful and important to say, when in fact, it's really just a copy-paste of a collection of thoughtful observations made by a 6-year-old. So I really hope that that is an encouragement for you. You're going to choose option 1 or 2, and you're going to give it your all today after watching these 3 background videos. Keep in mind, your teacher is in the lobby, in the main meet, waiting to answer your questions and encourage you as you go. Good luck.